As far as diversity and making sure that diversity is a priority, I think when in any discussion that you're having about what initiatives we want to focus on to improve this campus, you have to make sure that everyone's well represented. But the best thing that you can do is just make sure that anything you're doing, you're getting all those perspectives and moving forward.
That is why, as a member of the Subcommittee on Cultural, International, and Minority Students Affairs at the university, we are currently working on events to host structured conversations and bring forth more inclusiveness to this university. I strongly support and have supported last night on my Facebook group the gender-neutral dormitories on campus, and until we have such housing options, I support students' rights to opt out of living in the dorms.
As far as how can you tangibly try to make something like that happen, I think it's a very difficult action to try to promise and try to figure out how to do in a one-year span. Certainly the LGBT community has resources, has a unified effort to make sure that they have a voice on this campus. Specifically with this issue, it's not for me or anyone to judge what an individual's medical needs are. However, I think as students and the board needs to have reservations as far as this actual effort. This proposal drastically is going to change our student health care program.
You do not have to be on the student insurance plan. In fact, it would be cheaper if you do not support this to go out and get your own insurance.
The economic conditions are why higher education is so expensive. So if as students, if we can't take an initiative to just drastically change tuition and lower it, what can we do? We can increase the value of what students are paying for. And how do we do that? I think the simplest way is if we're paying $12,000 to $18,000 a year to go here, we need to be able to know what's happening on our own campus. A simple campus calendar pulling up today and seeing everything that's happening on campus, from clubs to your college, Greek community events, community service, or speakers on campus. We need to know what we're paying for so that we can take advantage of as many opportunities in our 4 years here as possible.
As for the idea that has seemed to be brought up for the last 3 years of a council of leaders, was brought up by Pileski, was mentioned last year by Siegel and Gleason, to me is very unobtainable, and I would stop the notion to that. It's unreasonable to gather 15,000 presidents of RSOs and put them in a room and have them meet and expect to understand the issues that each of them has and needs. The University of Illinois has a B+ in perceptions of campus safety. This may be good for a lot of other universities, but for Illini, it's not. I've heard too many times how students feel uncomfortable alone at night on the streets of our campuses. We must consider expanding safe ride coverage. If someone feels uncomfortable walking home, I don't think we should tell them, well, there's a bus stop near you.
And it was brought up in academic senate that potentially we need to have a disaster awareness plan within every course syllabus on campus. And I think that is something that we definitely need to look at and take into serious consideration. If nothing else, having that in the syllabus just gets faculty to think about the current procedures and how they would implement it in the classrooms. I think it's just making sure that those who have been impacted about this, if they could express any concerns that they see, or anybody who feels unsafe on this campus for any reason needs to make sure that they go to either their advisor or one of these student campus safety committees and say, hey, this is an issue I see on campus.
I feel that through education, through RSOs and the university administration targeting students and educating them about this problem, that events like that will decrease. The Greek system may be the top RSO that raises the most money through foundations and fundraisers and philanthropy events. So the Greek system definitely gives back to the community.
The Greek community is an integral part to the University of Illinois. We're one of the largest Greek communities in the nation, and I think there is just so much good that does come about it. If our faculty would unionize, we would lose some of our most prestigious faculty, and we wouldn't be able to attract other really good faculty from across the nation. So I think ultimately that hurts everybody, not just students, but also the faculty.
I would hope that the campus, if unionizes like some of our sister schools, doesn't go on strike. However, if it were to go on strike, I would respond by meeting with the union heads. And as student trustee, I wouldn't really be too concerned with the unions of the teachers, because my main concern is the student body's voice and hearing and expressing their views to the Board of Trustees.
We can't control tuition bumps completely. Inflation is what it is, but a 1.7% increase is not too bad of a deal.
And pursue any and all other paths to closing and funding gaps. As the student trustee, you have the ability to vote no for increases in tuition. To avoid that, I would simply vote no.
It all goes back to MAP grants, and that's something, MAP and Pell grants at the federal level. Those are things that can directly impact those who don't think that they can afford to go here. I think most people could argue that higher education hasn't shifted with a lot of 21st century technology. And I think online education is definitely going to be a supplement to the future of the way we do classes here.
I feel that they fit in just fine where they are now. However, I do not feel that they can replace the experience and knowledge that you learn from in-person teaching and in-person classrooms. I do not feel that I am in any way treated different than somebody in the College of Engineering. They may receive more funding for new business or new technologies and new buildings. However, I do not feel that my education is being hindered in any way as a result of that.
I think we're on the verge of a major change in figuring out how we can have a multifaceted degree process where students will be able to get experience in multiple areas on campus. The University of Illinois' mission is to create people who go out into the workforce and have a global perspective. So international students play an integral role in that, as far as we're all learning from each other.
I feel that international students do bring a great new perspective to students who may not interact with everybody around the world. I feel that we must also broaden our recruitment in Instate and in the U.S. first. We feel that pursuing the chief further is one of the big issues that the university completely dropped the ball on. I feel that we can make up for that issue by reopening it, by going to different tribes in Illinois and offering to adopt their chief.
There could be another conversation, at least of the reasoning behind it, and I think a lot of people would simply just want to see a conversation. With administration, with the tribe, everybody's kind of talking to a different source about their stance, and that just does nobody good, as far as everybody having a stance but then not knowing what each other is saying to each other. I do not believe that the university should try to shut down Unofficial, because if that would happen, we just create a new holiday where we can all come together and have a little fun. I think what students need to know is just to be responsible and use common sense.
I believe that our current policies for Unofficial have been very effective. For the past 3 years, arrests have declined.